Alrighty. We are live. I am live. Okay, I'm just gonna bear with while I adjust this. Okay. Live on Instagram, live on Facebook. So, for those of you that don't know me, oh, hold on a second. I'm getting old reminders from Joel's computer because it's from the 80s. So for those of you that do not know this character here, this is Joel Brown. Okay, Leslie and Nikita, I know you know this guy. So we're also on Instagram, so we're cutting lots of bases today. Joel and I have been smashing out content today. Well, I might break it. Smashing out content today. We've been on call after call and sharing tons of value. So hit us through with some questions on anything that you want to know from us so you can start thinking about that as we start talking. But I will give you a bit of an intro into this character here. So this is Joel Brown. It's like the fifth time I've introed you today. Is that your computer that's broken, or are we getting that much love? I feel like it's
getting a lot of love.
We can work with that. So Joel Brown is the founder of the world's number one motivation website, addicted2success.com. He also has his own website, iamjoelbrown.com. He's basically just an all-round champion guy who works around the world with global leaders in business, interviews and podcasts with people such as Gabrielle Bernstein, Tony Robbins, you know, that guy that some of us know about, and basically just works with clients to really help them step up and grow an amazing profile online. But apart from that as well, he's also a really, really epic guy who is full of heart, full of soul, and just super connected and really focusing on the things in life that matter. So he's a really amazing guy to be around, to get around if you are looking at growing a conscious business, looking at showing up more powerfully in your life in any way. So I'm super excited to share him with you guys. I'm going to actually try and keep track of some of these comments and questions. So, hey Sam, I've got Sam over there. Oh, she's saying great course as well, so that's awesome, one of your clients.
Awesome.
So I will ask questions and then obviously jump in if you, Michael, amazing. If you have questions specifically for Joel, then we would love to answer those. Phil, hi my love.
What's up,
yes,
brother?
What's up?
Looking fly and flashy in that picture, dude.
If anyone was here at our Auckland event, we had Phil Palin speaking and Joel, and so we're just having a little moment there, excuse me. We've got Kristen over there, amazing. Okay, cool. So we really will talk about, let's start with, you know, grassroots in the modern social media, social online scene right now. What do we have to think about when we're trying to cut through and, you know, create a name and create a brand and a business online? $1 million question.
That's a broad question. Look, it's obviously subjective. It depends on what your brand is, what your business is, but really, as an overall, I guess, answer to that, in general, with social media, it's easier to be different than it is to be better. Like, stop trying to be better than the person you look up to. It just doesn't work like that, right? Yeah, I know we're on Instagram. So yeah, you got to be. Another one is you got to be everywhere, anywhere, right? We're on Instagram Live. We're on Facebook Live. I was thinking of setting up my YouTube live stream and maybe turning this into a webinar, and like hitting the email list. No, I'm joking. But in all seriousness, it's kind of crazy that that's the world that we live in now. It's like you need to be on so many different platforms because there's different audience on different platforms. You know, I've got friends that don't touch Instagram. They're crazy. They should be. And then I have people that hate Twitter, but really I'm crushing it on Twitter when it comes to my business. I'm getting a lot of traffic there. And then you've got, you know, your moms that are in their like 40s or so. This is basically the biggest audience on Pinterest is, you know, over 40-year-old moms that are like selling e-commerce products and things like that. So every platform has its own audience. You've got to identify what your audience is. Focus on being different than being better. Cross-collaborate, cross-promote, like really go in and really, you know, tap into each other's channels, create great friendships and relationships with others that have a similar vision to you. I think it's really important to be careful who you associate with too, because that could ruin your brand. You know, your association determines your destination, right? So you need to be really careful of who you associate with because it can blur your message. So I'm very big on like really keeping the message clear. the reason why I'm a big fan of what Emily does is because we both want the same thing out of life when it comes to getting people, you know, results in transformation. You know, that's why I align with people like Preston Alexi and you know, Peter Kelly, and you know, go and want to interview people like Tony Robbins and Gary Vaynerchuk and Tim Ferriss, like, because these people preach a very similar message. They do it in their own way, but I don't step too far outside of that. You know, so you've got to really be clear on who you are. Like, that self-awareness is so key, because the more self-aware you are, the more clear you can get on your message, and the more clear you are with your message, the more of the right people start showing up in your life. Not just in relationships, but also clients. You know, clients start showing up, and you get to work with people that actually really want to work with you too. You know, so I'm all about not wasting time, not wasting energy, not wasting money. I want to do things the right way, and the way to do that is to be getting clear on what your vision is and aligning yourself with that.
Yeah, and I think something that you said there that's really important, because like you said, it is a broad question, but it's also sort of a snapshot for how you build anywhere. And I think, like you said, it's like knowing where your audience is, and that really comes down to knowing who your audience is. Like, you know, yes, where they are, but who are they? Like, where, like, what is your product? What is your the niche that you're in? What kind of problems do you help solve? Who are they? And really intimately connecting and figuring out who they are, so you can then, like, because once you have that, I feel like so many of your decisions are kind of made for you, because there's certain places where 18 to 25-year-olds are. There's certain places where 40 to 50-year-olds are. And they both have their very different set of problems. So if you're trying to communicate to 18 to 50-year-olds, you have a really, really big catchment that you're trying to be a fit-all for all of that. And that's, I think, a mistake I see people make, because an 18-year-old has a very, very different lifestyle problem, you know, spending habits, everything, than a 50-year-old. So you can't really say that's who my client is. And so getting really specific on that is super important, and then obviously affects where you show up and what you do online.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Guys, if you're feeling this information, hit the like and the love button. I want you to smash it right now. Just smash it, smash it, smash it.
And for you guys too.
Yeah, show your support, because this is the thing, right? We live in a world right now where there is a saturation of people online, and so the way to really stand out is to create engaging content. If you don't have people liking and loving your videos and you know, sharing your content or tagging their friends, it's not going to go that far. And we want this message to go far. So, like and love, we can use this as an example. When you're on and you're doing your Facebook Lives or you're doing your Instagram Lives, like, really get in there and like get people to engage and interact. Otherwise, why are you on there? Why you just want to sit and talk to yourself or talk to a bunch of numbers on a screen? No, you want to talk with real people. Like Carolyn, I see you. Amy, Amanda, Susan, Buffy, I see you. Phil, I saw you in here before, I see you. You know what I mean? So it's like really important to interact. Over here on Instagram, we've got Samantha, we've got Christina, right? We've got a number of other people too.
Emily, yeah.
Yep, there you go.
Kirsten switched over to Facebook.
There you go, right? So it's really important to know that you're speaking with people, and so really positioning yourself from that angle, as whenever you put out your products or you create your content, like, always keep people in mind. Because it's not about you. It's about serving others. Totally. Being the solution.
Hey Nick, hey Michael. So Michael has a good question, and I know if Phil's still on the line, he has an answer to this, but how many platforms should we be on? Ticking off 2 right now, we're getting some love over there.
You know, like, I would do the research depending on what, you know, product, service, or whatever offering you have. Depends where you are in the world. If you're in Russia, you've got vk.com, you don't mess with Facebook. You know, if you're in China, you got some other weird name thing, I don't even know what it is, but it's a replacement of Facebook. So it depends where you are. What I would say is this: I'd say I would really focus on 2 or 3 max that I put a lot of time and energy into, and the rest are just kind of secondary. Like, Google Plus still serves a purpose, because if you're a blogger and you've got articles, you want to share those articles in Google Plus and have a community there and interact and share in there, because Google Plus is owned by Google. So what happens is when you share an article in Google Plus, the little spiders that go out into the webiverse, or whatever you want to call it, whatever people are calling it now, I'm getting too old for this stuff.
Oh my God, yeah, right.
They go out and they actually go and like look for content, and the first place they go is YouTube and Google Plus. That's where they start. They go there first, then they go to other sites after that, and they may take a week or 2 weeks to go out. But this really helps you to with your SEO, your search engine optimization. So I wouldn't count Google Plus out. Most people would. So it serves its purpose in that sense. You look at something like Twitter. Twitter is freaking awesome. And when my book's coming out, I'm going to be all over Twitter. I'm going to be on Twitter probably more than Facebook and Instagram itself, because Twitter is beast when it comes to putting up status updates and getting instantaneous clicks and instantaneous reach. Now, the reach doesn't last for as long as Facebook, but you get it instantaneously. Like, I still drive a good 35 to 40% of my traffic to Addicted to Success. It gets over 2 million views a month. Get 40% of that from Twitter, still. Twitter's not dead. It's just a lot of people aren't using it properly.
I feel like Twitter didn't really happen for us here, so it's kind of... It's something that I'm definitely... Yeah, true, that's true. I feel like it's something I'm revisiting, and I definitely want to get on, especially after you guys saying that, and Phil saying that. It's a big thing for that targeted audience. You need
to, you need to learn how to use Twitter. You also need a big following on Twitter.
Trust our somewhere team.
Right. Twitter's getting a little bit smarter. They're starting to prioritize some engaging content. It's not as heavy as Facebook is, but this is the thing about Facebook. Their number one goal is to make money. That's it. They say they want to connect the world and all that, and people cry. People complain that they're not getting as much reach on Facebook anymore. And what I'd say to that is, don't be spoiled. And the reason why I say that is because you're still using Facebook as a free platform. It's free for you to do that. Okay, otherwise pay for it. So you've got to pay to play. You need to pay for advertising if you want reach. You need to have a fan page. You need to really be going in and experimenting and testing and learning the ropes and learning the online landscape if you want to get the best out of Facebook. But it's going to change. One of my friends said that Facebook is actually looking at implementing, I think they've already started doing it, ads that pop up while you're doing Facebook Live. And that's going to pee a lot of people off. Yeah. MySpace used to do things like that. That's why MySpace is dead. But Facebook owns the monopoly in the industry right now. They don't care. They want to make money. That's it.
I think also as well on this, when we're thinking about where you're going to show up and what can you do well, it's also think about, I always find it really helpful to flip these questions and put yourself in the consumer seat as opposed to the business seat, because ultimately every single one of you out there who has your own business in your own life is a consumer. So as a consumer, how many social platforms are you on personally that you really engage with, that you then listen to call to actions and go and take action from? Most of you probably not really heavily more than, Facebook, Instagram, and maybe one other. So that's the same thing with your consumers. Where is the concentrated amount hanging out? Right. And I think also putting yourself in that space of being the consumer uncomplicates a lot of business decisions, because you know how you are called to action, you know what makes you buy, and you know what engages you. So I find that it kind of is sometimes helpful to move ourselves into that seat and make some of those decisions, because you know what works for your own personal sort of space.
Yeah, you gotta have your brains for business and your heart for the consumer. Always know that whether they're buying your products or your services, whatever, you have to have heart for that. They're real human beings. But be smart. There's a story that I shared on a podcast. I think this might be really helpful. So, I might botch this up. I hope I don't. Let's just go into I'm going in as much confidence as I can with this story. I'm trying my best.
Here we go.
Now,
we are 4 live streams deep today, so
we'll probably lose our mind a little bit.
Yeah.
So there was an Indian guy in business class sitting on the plane, right? And he looks to the right of him, and there is Albert Einstein. Okay, Albert Einstein notices the guy's looking at him, waves to him, asks him about the book that he's reading. He notices he's reading a book about science and the world. He started talking with this Indian fellow, and Einstein says to this Indian guy, "This is a long flight. Let's play a game." And this guy's like, "What's the game?" So Einstein said, "I'll ask you a question, and if you can answer the question, if you find the answer for this, then I'll pay you $500. And the Indian goes, "Wow." And he's like, "Yeah, but you're really intelligent, you're really smart. I don't know if..." And Albert Einstein said, "Let's make this fair. Yes, I am, and I'm known as a very intelligent human being. So how about if you get it wrong, then you pay me $50. So the guy's like, "All right, cool, let's do that." So Einstein went first, and he said, "So, what is the exact distance from the Earth to the moon? And the Indian guy was sitting there, and he's like, oh, man, that's heavy. That's a heavy question. I know I could probably jump on Google and look it up, but off the top of my head, I wouldn't know what that is. He said, you know what? I don't know what that is. So he pulls $50 out of his pocket, and he gives Einstein $50. And then Einstein says, okay, you go next. So the Indian guy goes, okay, what goes up a mountain with 3 legs and comes back with 4? Einstein's sitting there and he's crunching, he's going through all his algorithms and he's going through his mind and trying to find the answer. So then he's going, man, you've really caught me in this one. I'm not too sure what it is. And he's like, oh, okay. So he gives the Indian guy $500. And so the Indian guy's sitting there and Einstein said, just out of interest, what does go up a mountain with 3 legs and comes down with 4? The Indian guy reaches in his pocket and gives Einstein $50.
Well, there was no answer?
He didn't even know the answer. And Einstein said to him, that is amazing. You are a new kind of smart. Right? And so what I would challenge you to do is to be a new kind of smart. Like really think outside of the box when it comes to the online stuff. Because that's what's winning right now. It's the things that the people haven't even tried. It's like putting money down on the line. It's taking those risks. It's putting yourself out there and like cracking jokes and saying things that might be just a little bit outside of your business, but you're connecting and doing something different. So be a new kind of smart, because that's what's going to reward you. Fortune favors the brave. So be brave.
I love that. Yeah, and it's like, again, like the numbers thing, everyone on here, like you're all people and we love you. Like we're like want to connect with you and we're so honored that they're just like beautiful people are here sharing time with us. Like Jason, Brandy, Andy, Nikita, Carolyn, Caitlin, Sion. Like we're just so stoked. You guys are all people. Like every one of your customers is a person who's like human and wants to connect with you. So any way you can show up and allow and create that space for connection, that's what is kind of cutting through, because we're conscious consumers now. We are more discerning than ever before. We don't want to just buy brands and products that have no face or no stories. So how can you start to step into that space and be a stand for something different? Because that's what we are now all, as humanity, more naturally drawn to, right?
Totally. You don't want to come from a desperate place either. Like everyone knows, everyone can smell BS from a mile away. You got people that talk BS because they want to sell to you. You got people that have ulterior motives when they reach out to you. So like, you just don't want to be that person. Like find something that you can genuinely offer. And the way you do that is by focusing on one thing at a time. You know, for me, it was building Addicted to Success. Like that's it. I didn't want to go in and write a book and, you know, launch a podcast and speak around the world straight away. It was part of my vision. But I was like, you know what? I'm really going to do this blog thing. I'm going to kill it. And I did. Crushed it. You know, 120 million views in, the last 6.5 years. And it worked because I was dedicated to that one sole vision for that, right? Along the way, I decided once I built out a team and I had people working with me and I had people contributing and I had interns jump on board, I then had the time and space to create and do other things. Started writing my book. You know, I put out the podcast and we got 1.5 million plays and downloads on that. It was like one thing at a time. So I would challenge you to do. Find your one thing.
Yeah. Super important. I see this a lot with people kind of trying to launch 2 things at once, or, you know, really complicating the structure of things. And it's just like, what is the message? What are you trying to get across? And then kind of trying to really convey, especially on social media, you know, you are about a message and about something. So finding the kind of overarching umbrella, I think, really helps in deciding what your content is, rather than thinking about the different products you have or things like that. Just what is the message, because that's again what relates and what people connect to, because we want that extra reason why to connect with you or why to buy your product. And I'm going to bring this up because I'm sure other people will have these specific questions, because Buffy has said how to grow Instagram, and I just want to say, because we've spoken about it quite a few times today, it's like everything that we share is like about building business. It's also about how you build your social media. Like this, like Job has said, there's no like magic bullet secret sauce, you know. It's like the same way you're going to build your business is how you're going to build your social media. It's like collaborations, networking, finding your message, being consistent, like those core things that you have to show up in every area of your life is the same way you're going to grow social media. But I will hand it over to this guy because that's just my input. But would you like agree?
Yeah.
I'm just using your words, really.
Look, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It's very simple. Social media was created for us to...
He wants the secret sauce.
She wants the secret sauce.
You already got the secret sauce. What are you talking
All right,
about?
let me tell you what the secret sauce is.
She's already got the secret sauce.
I'll tell you what the secret sauce is. There's two components to the secret sauce. Be really good at what you do and have a crap load of money on the table ready to spend on ads.
Oh, there you go.
That's it. Like,
well,
honestly, because at the end of the day, like, there's a lot of half-assed people with a lot of money out there. They might have got their money in a different industry. They might have got a lot of money from a friend, or they might have inherited it, or whatever, right? They put that money on the table to get them a lot of stretch when it comes to exposure, and that's why a lot of people know their names. Now, you may have a ton of value to offer, and you may be very, very talented as an individual, but if you're not collaborating with people that have a network that can get you the exposure, if you're not building a team of your own, or even building a platform of your own that's going to get you that exposure, you're going to have to pay for it at some point. That's just how it is. That's the world we live in right now. And so, you know, you can have a certain amount of creativity and throw that on the table, but that's only going to get you so far. You know, even these, you see like a lot of these guys, like Prince EA. Okay, so let's use him for an example. I don't know if you know Prince EA, but he's done that video on like how we're all just like, it's like auto-tuning your life, whatever. He talks about how we're all on like our phones, and he did another one about the schooling system, the education system, and about the environment and in following your dreams. So his content's great. I really vibe with it. I think it's great. It's epic. He puts a lot of effort into shooting the videos. He killed it because he was very creative in the beginning, and he tapped in and shared his content with a few other pages and asked them to share it for him, and it got traction on the first video or two. And that was when not as many people were doing it, and he put a little bit of money behind it to get it some boost. I actually had a conversation with Prince EA a good 3 years ago when I started the Addicted to Success podcast. He said to me that when he put out that first video, he was shit scared because he hadn't done any public speaking or anything like that. He said that he blew up literally overnight. Like, he was living, I think it was in New Orleans or somewhere like that. And he said that he put up the video on Facebook, and I think it had something like 5 million views or 10 million views in the space of like a week, right? Yeah, when it was like really crushing. You know, and then he said that he started getting asked by like Greenpeace and the UN and all these like big organizations for him to go and speak about the environment and things, because he was talking about conscious things, you know, purpose-driven things and about the world. And he was like, man, I've been called to do all these things, I'm not ready. Like, he had to really like work on his confidence, and he started to say yes. Now he's really confident. Now he puts out awesome content and he's built the network, but even he had to start somewhere. So when you see his views now with like 50 million plays or 40 million plays, like, he started somewhere. You know, so like, where's your somewhere? Where is that? And what do you need to do for you to get that traction? Because once you get that momentum, like the Joel Brown train, I'm saying brain train, Joel Brown train. The Joel Brown train, or the Addicted to Success train, will not stop. Like, I can't slow that thing down if I wanted to. Like, because I've just put up so much content and I've been consistent and I've focused on you know, value, you know, quality over quantity, but still consistent. And that's why, you know, it just can't be slowed down. Like, that's it. My value increased every time I stretched myself and put more content out there and really jumped in the deep end and you know, just really strangled my fears and went with it. That's when my value just continues to increase. So that's the key. Yeah. There's a lot there, but that's it.
No, but it's important because
that's
it's
the
kind
secret
of
sauce.
It's like, stay the long game and do the work. Like, I feel like that's the secret right there. Like, do the work and stay around long enough for the work that you're doing to land and to give you the momentum and really stick. So, yeah.
Right.
I think we're going to have to cut it off there in a second.
It's not a secret.
No, well, it's not a secret. We just told the world. Head ahead first, do the work and stay the long game.
Right. If you want to hear the real secrets, make sure you come to my event in Auckland this weekend. Surfers Paradise next weekend. Melbourne a couple weeks after that. Yeah, so
Joel is, like I said at the beginning, he is really leading the way in this conscious business online building space. I can absolutely totally vouch for him. He has so many tricks and openly really and beautifully shares them. He's a really solid guy. He's grounded, really, really amazing character-wise as well. So, you know, it's not just about business, it's also about how to be in alignment, how to live a life that you're really passionate about. And that is going down this weekend in Auckland. So we'll put the link to that in the comments here. If you guys have any questions, you can shoot them through to me or Joel. I think we tagged him. So I am Joel Brown on Instagram. I am not Joel Brown, you are Joel Brown. And so we're going a little bit crazy here today. So amazing. Thanks for jumping on, all of us. We love you. Thanks for being here and sharing the space with us.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, just stretch, show up, do the work, and don't overthink it too, I think, you know, really. So lots and lots of love. We will put the link for more info on Joel down there as well, and see you soon.
I'm feeling real generous now too,
here we go.
so let's give them a 20% discount on all tickets, on the early bird tickets.
There you go.
There you go.
Boom. Price of, that's what you get.
It's the M special.
It's the M special. There we go. Amazing. I'll take it. So we'll share that link down there, and maybe see some of you guys this weekend. Bye.
See you guys. Thanks.
Okay, just stay for the last little bit of love.